Hey, what's up, you guys? I am just about half an hour away from meeting up with Fort Worth Magazine. Recently, the editor has contacted me. I've done a couple of illustrations for the magazine before, and they're doing a big end of the year 2020 issue, and actually wants to bring me on as an illustrator to make a series of graphic novel type illustrations that kind of like summarize the year. And obviously it's been a crazy year, and he wants to, I guess, illustrate that. But he kept saying graphic novel, like a comic book. I really don't know. I really don't know exactly what he wants, and I find that a lot of times when you're working with clients, it's like they have an idea, but they don't really know how to communicate exactly what it is they want. It's just like they know what they don't want. Anyway, they have invited me to the Fort Worth Magazine offices to storyboard out this concept, and so I'm going to head that way right now. Hey guys, what's up? So my meeting that I went to, which at this point was yesterday. I was kind of in a writer's room type style meeting, and it was me, the editor of the magazine, the writer that's assigned to write copy for. I don't know what to call it. It's not a comic book. It's not a graphic novel, but it's like the visual storytelling is going to be in the vein of a graphic novel. So let's just call it the Fort Worth Magazine, the magazine comic. We'll just do that. So the writer that was assigned to the magazine comic, and there was another person in the room. I'm not sure if he was part of their layout and design, but anyway, it was really interesting because we all kind of sat down around this rectangle-shaped table, and we're just talking about the ideas, and they already had like subjects that they wanted to hit. What's happening is it's basically I've been assigned to illustrate in a visual style that's very much like a graphic novel the events of 2020, starting with the beginning of the year when, after the new year it held so much promise, and then we quickly realized that COVID-19 was a thing, and then things started shutting down. There was a panic run of toilet paper. That kind of brings us into early summer when Black Lives Matter protests started happening, and that movement was kicking up speed, and so on and so forth. But we're keeping all those major events contained within Fort Worth and how it impacted Fort Worth because it's a Fort Worth magazine. I'm even more excited about it now than I was before. It's Friday right now, and by Monday I am going to submit 10 pages of rough drafts of what will be the final drawings. Before I start that process though, I'm gathering some reference photos because I work better with a reference. It's really nice to have a visual reference for me to use as a guide. So if I'm going to be illustrating frontline workers, what does the mask look like? I know what the mask looks like in my head, but whenever you start to sit down and really illustrate something, it's good to know how the straps look on someone's ear, or what different masks look like, and what do frontline workers wear. Whenever I'm sitting to draw and I get to where the hands meet the arms, it's like, what do their scrubs look like? Are they gathered? Are they ties? It's just that attention to detail is really nice to have on a reference, and so that's where I'm at. I don't know if you guys can see, but right here I'm working on a big double page spread. It's gonna be the opener for the book, and my hands are doing weird things. Anyway, in this is what this is. This is kind of the beginning. I drew a page last night. I don't know if you can see this, but I drew this page last night to get it started. Even before I got a call from the editor telling me that the project was greenlit, because I kind of want to get started on this. He did eventually get back in touch and said, you're good to go. So today I'll be working on this. I'll probably be working on this for the next, I've got maybe 2 weeks to knock this out. So I'll be working on this pretty non-stop. Anyway, I'm gonna get to drawing, and I'll catch you guys later. Hey, so I needed a reference photo for this restaurant. It's a local restaurant here in Fort Worth called Bonnell's. Hold on, let me hop in the truck. During quarantine, Bonnell's restaurant was one of the first ones to figure out a way around the whole we can't have indoor dining thing. And so this restaurant's being featured in the comic magazine that I'm working on. And so, but online I couldn't find any photos for it that I could see the picture, the illustration in my head, but it was hard for me to figure out the right angle or to figure out what, you know, what was actually in the background from the angle. I knew where to put the building and where to put the road, but I just don't know the angle or the perspective. It's hard for me to picture that sometimes. So I drove out here to the physical place to take some photographs with my phone to reference it. All the pages are going really, really well, but it's just this one panel. It's a half-page panel of this restaurant that I just can't figure out the right perspective. Compositionally, it's boring, it's dumb, and I was like, there's got to be a different angle so I came out here to explore a little bit and find out what angles work best. And so that's what I just did. So I got the photos on my phone, boom, and we're gonna go back home and start working on this page. Hey guys, so I did it. Emailed all the pages over to the editor, and I also CC'd the writer and the creative director on the project, and just emailed them out. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if they're just like, these are great, and it gets sent to publication, or I'll have some rewrites to do, some redraws to do, or some touch-ups, or I don't know, but it's done. I was talking to a friend of mine when I got this job. She told me she was containing her excitement for me, but it seemed like I was taking everything in stride, and I told her that the thing is that until I see it like on a shelf in a store in magazine format, and then I can physically buy it myself and take it home, that's when I get excited, because the thing that I've been working on is actually out in the world, and it's physical and it's real. For me, even though I've drawn drawings and I've colored things and I've worked for 2 weeks and I've emailed digital files over to an editor of a magazine, that doesn't guarantee that it's gonna run. Anything could happen between now and then, and so I always try to err on the side of caution. Just like, this is a great opportunity. I'm super pumped. I'm very excited that I can do this. I'm gonna have work in a magazine. I'm not gonna get too excited about it until that magazine is published and it's out into the world. That's kind of like when I know that it's real. I'm excited. It's a done deal. And if anything else happens from this point on till we print, of course I'll update you guys here. Hey, pardon the hair. I just got up and brought my kid to school, and haven't done much to myself this morning, but I wanted to check in with you guys. In the initial meeting, there was confusion on my part as to exactly what they wanted to do with the color palette. So I kind of like chose the safer decision. They wanted like a sepia toned color palette, but they were showing me examples of the comic book 300. You know, the epic. I guess it's a Roman. The Roman battle? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. And that comic book has like a muted color palette of like really warm tones, like really warm oranges and yellows, but it's got pops of color with like red, and then it's got really subtle undertones of like blues and greens that are like really subtle. And some of the backgrounds have like this watercolor texture and feel. It's not actual watercolor painting, but they kind of wanted more of a literal translation of that comic book for their comic. Which, had I known going in, I would have done that from the outset. But you really don't know. Sometimes you know, I would hate to have done all of that work, and then for them to come back and be like, yeah, this is too much. Can you like tone it down a bit? Can you bring it back a notch? I wouldn't want to do that. So I'd rather cheat on the side of, well, this is safe and easy, and if I need to punch it up, I can do that. So I did that for them and sent everything off first thing this morning to the editor and the creative director and the writer. So here's hoping they like this revised version. I do think it made the pages better. I do think they made the illustrations better. And honestly, I kind of like having a creative director there to be like, hey, no, we need to punch this up, and kind of push me, you know, artistically as well. Especially things that I'm not sure that they want. So yeah, so that was good. That was cool. Hey, so, let me get you guys up to speed super fast. It's interesting to me how I started this video in the background. I had like Halloween decorations up, and now we're to a point where I've got, it's my Christmas lights. So a lot's happened since I last checked in with you guys. For me, it's been weeks. For you, it's been seconds. But where I think I left off was I delivered all the images to the editor and the art director, and I was getting feedback, and they needed me to tweak the color a little bit and resubmit those pages. So I had done that, tweaked the color, submitted it to the editor and the art director, and then was just kind of like waiting on that feedback just to make sure that we were a go. What happened next was I got a phone call from the editor, and it was all good news. It was, hey, these are great. They look fantastic. Do you think you could do one more page for us? Yeah, I can do this. What are you thinking? He wanted a comic book cover-esque type illustration to introduce the story in the magazine. The rough concept was a cowboy on a horse, and I had this vision in my mind with Fort Worth in the background and like dust, like a dust storm. We settled on the concept. I got to work on the actual design. Did a rough sketch, submitted it. That was greenlit, and then I started work. Now, to say that that went smooth would be a lie. It went good though, because really what happened was I did the entire illustration, submitted it to them. I want to say I submitted it colored, and they gave it to the publisher, and he said everything looked great, but the horse needed to change. He said that the horse looked like a stuffed animal and it needed to look more realistic. He gave me some images to reference that kind of had like horse anatomy and proper proportion and proper muscle structure and all that stuff. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I set about redrawing the horse. So I left the background and was able to drop the horse and rider out and then redraw just the horse and rider, put them back in with a new horse, resubmitted that image to them. They said that everything looks great, the horse is perfect, but they had a few critiques about the rider. Apparently, when you ride horses professionally, there's a certain stature, there's a certain place where just things naturally fall. It seems nitpicky, but again, it did strengthen both the believability of the image. It made my character look a little bit more realistic, and honestly, it strengthened the image overall. One of the things that I can say definitely as a takeaway from this project is working with an art director or a creative art director, and working alongside other people that are trying to push you to do your best. When I'm doing just like fan art or doing comic book art or working with my own stuff, there's no one to say, hey, this looks a little wonky, whatever critiques that you would have. There's no one there to critique me. And so on this project, there was definitely people there to critique what I was doing. And it was enlightening. It was, honestly, it was a really positive experience for me to create something, submit it, and get honest feedback and the editor and the art director were just repeating words that the publisher had said as far as the critiques of how the horse looked and stuff like that. And so they're really gracious, but they just put it all out there. They're like, yeah, he says it looks like a stuffed animal, so you have to change that. All that to say, it was nice to have someone there to kind of like steer me a little bit more straight and critique and give me pointers and tell me exactly what they wanted and exactly what they were looking for, and basically give me the opportunity to deliver, and to do some work that I was really proud of. So a quick twist on the ending there is that 2 minutes after our initial conversation discussing like the comic book cover page introduction to the story and inside the magazine, he called me right back and said that he wanted to pitch it to the publisher to make the cover. The image was actually going to be on the cover of the December issue of the magazine. And this is the cover. This is the cover. So Brian called me back and he was like, great news, we got the cover. You got to redraw the horse. And so so it was bittersweet, but it was a very positive experience. Boom. This is actually the cover of the magazine right here. So I think that wraps up this video. It's taking me forever to record and put this together just because this has been my entire November. If I had to say how I feel about the project right here, right now, I know it's definitely going to be a touchstone in my career. Just another thing to put on my artist CV and to put another notch in my belt and say, hey, I did this. And I'm super pumped. I hope that I hope that this creates a ripple effect in days, weeks, and months to come. I tend to have these delusions of grandeur where my phone's gonna be ringing off the hook and I'm gonna get all these emails, and that's probably not true. But I would like to think that somebody else somewhere, at least one person, will see my illustrations and give me a call, and it will lead to other things, It doesn't have to be, it's not like I have to work for Hollywood, but just to do work in general and being able to chip away at the dream of working for myself and working from home and making a living doing illustrations and art. That's a big deal. So any sort of steps, baby steps, strides, crawling of my hands and knees in that general direction is a good thing. So I'm super excited about it. I think that's it for now. I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video and you want to see more, you can check out other videos on my channel. If you haven't subscribed to this one, I would appreciate it if you did. Just hit that little button and subscribe. There's more videos like this in the future. And until then, take it easy.